ndugu zetu katika National Assembly hawana haja, hawana nia, hawashughulikii, hawana ile roho ya kuhakikisha kwamba mambo ya afya, mambo ya ukulima na shida ya mwananchi katika mashinani imeshughulikiwa. Kwa sababu hiyo tumekubaliana na ile fika ya 316.5 kama seneti, lakini tutaendelea kupambana kwa kotini kuhakikisha ya kwamba ile appropriation bill ya national government ya kugawa pesa kwa taifa na national government budget mwaka ujao hakutawezekana tena kwamba counties watakuwa wanaumia kwa pesa zinazoenda kwa counties, ili hali national government napitisha bajeti kwa pesa ambayo sio yao. Ilikuwa ni nia yetu iongezwe mpaka 335 billion shillings, lakini kama vile Wakenya wameona, ndugu zetu katika National Assembly hawana haja, hawana nia, hawashughulikii, hawana ile roho ya kuhakikisha kwamba mambo ya afya, mambo ya ukulima na shida ya mwananchi katika mashinani imeshughulikiwa. Kwa sababu hiyo tumekubaliana na ile fika ya 316.5 kama seneti, lakini tutaendelea kupambana kwa kotini kuhakikisha ya kwamba ile appropriation bill ya national government ya kugawa pesa kwa taifa na national government budget mwaka ujao hakutawezekana tena kwamba counties watakuwa wanaumia kwa pesa zinazoenda kwa counties, ili hali national government napitisha bajeti kwa pesa ambayo sio yao. Ya mwisho tumesema kama seneti kwa hii statement yetu ya kwamba pesa ambazo zinaenda counties government sio msaada, sio sadaka, sio ati umepeanwa na mtu fulani kwa county government, ni pesa za mwananchi wa taifa la Kenya. Thank you. I'll proceed from there.
The same tone.
The same tone.
Yes.
The Senate has been unwavering in its position that pursuant to Article 202(1) of the Constitution, revenue raised nationally must be shared equitably among the two levels of government. The county share of this revenue is a constitutional right and not an act of magnanimity on the part of the national government or the National Assembly or any other person or entity. Indeed, it is Parliament which raises and allocates money between national government and counties. The duty to ensure that counties receive their share nationally raised we was settled in the Supreme Court Advisory Opinion number 2 of 2013. It is therefore unfortunate that we still find ourselves in a position where we have to reiterate this very basic constitutional principle. It must be remembered that without the Senate going to the Supreme Court in 2013, we would not have been in the position to negotiate for the resources of the counties. So that victory of 2013 is part of the process that has led to the Senate performing this very important duty. The Senate must express its disappointment at the manner in which the National Assembly has handled this matter. The National Assembly has, throughout this process, arrogated to itself the role of the defender and protector of the position of interest of national government without any regard to the county governments. While the Constitution contemplates that the mediation process shall be a negotiation undertaken in utmost good faith and with patriotism and fidelity to the public interest, the National Assembly's conduct in this process has been evidenced by the nation at large, has been aggressive, combative, insensitive, and even reckless. The country has been treated to unprecedented display of brinkmanship that is oblivious to the existential threat that the division of revenue poses to the counties and to the system of devolved government as a whole. In virtually all bicameral systems, the second chamber is deliberately designed to be more circumspect, reflective, temperate, and sober House of Parliament. It is for good reason. It is for times such as this. The other House has demonstrated that it is unconcerned whether this impasse persists indefinitely. It is unconcerned whether the counties grind to a halt. It is the ultimate irony that it is no bother of the National Assembly if the people of Kenya are denied basic services at the counties so long as the national government is adequately resourced. The Senate, by its design, composition, and role, cannot be complicit in such a project. As we have shown, the process of passing the Division of Revenue Bill 2019 has been odious, and the Senate is cognizant that we are fast approaching the end of the first quarter of the financial year, and counties are yet to receive their share of national raised revenue. The country is faced with the real prospect of shutdown of service at the counties. This would have a disastrous effect on critical sectors such as agriculture and health. For this reason, and for reasons we have explained, the Senate, following a meeting held today, 5th September 2019, has made the painful but patriotic decision to advise our negotiators at the ongoing mediation process to agree to the allocation of the 316.5 billion as the equitable share of the nationally raised revenue to be allocated to the counties. This has been a difficult decision for the Senate, but the Senate has been faced with a situation where it has to rise to the calling and put the overall national interest above short-term partisan considerations. We take solace in the fact that sometimes to win the war, one must be prepared to yield some battles. We recognize that despite the many setbacks we have faced, the Senate has been able to enhance the allocation of county governments by 6.5 billion from the Kenya shillings 310 billion in the first published bill by the National Assembly to the current 316.5 billion. It is not enough, but it is progress, and the Senate will live to fight another day. The Senate will not allow the entire system of devolved government, that is the basic pillar of our Constitution, to be brought down by schemes such as this. Accordingly, we will advise the senators representing the Senate in the ongoing mediation process to urgently meet their counterparts in the National Assembly in order to immediately conclude this matter. The decision taken by the Senate is without prejudice to its position in High Court Petition number 284 of 2019, which suit we will continue to pursue as the petition seeks a determination on the constitutionality of the Appropriation Act 2019 rather than the quantum of the monies to be allocated to the two levels of government. It is similarly without prejudice to any other matter in court in which the Senate is partly and in which similar issues are in contention. On this, we remain steadfast. In fact, we want to insist that in 2013, just for the sake of the Republic and the people of Kenya, in 2013, we continued to pursue the question as to whether a division of revenue can be discussed by Senate or not, despite the fact that our division of revenue had already been passed by National Assembly alone, signed by the President, and was being implemented. Eventually, by the decision of the Supreme Court in the subsequent financial year, it became mandatory for the Senate now to work on the division of revenue bill. In the same manner, even though we concede to the amount that are in this, is 316.5, it is not without it is without prejudice, because we will continue to pursue the position that there cannot be a legal appropriation bill being passed by one house before a division of revenue bill is passed. That position will be canvassed in court, and I believe eventually in the financial year 2020-2021, we shall now be having the correct position of the, as enunciated by the Constitution, that appropriation bills both at the national and county level will wait for the division of revenue bill. The protracted division of revenue process that the country has witnessed has fortunately come at a time when the country is in the throes of robust constitutional reform discourse. The current impasse should serve as an ample testimony for the need for a constitutional amendment to rank and high in its agenda a guarantee of adequate resources for county governments, free from the prospects of bullying, intimidation, and blackmail that has characterized this process.
Yes.
It is probably also ample testimony for the need for such constitutional reform to carefully consider a redesign of the composition and roles of National Assembly that will ensure that the House at all times serves the national interest. In conclusion, the Senate commends the Senate Committee of Finance and Budget and the senators who served on both mediation committee on the Division of Revenue Bill for their resolve and commitment to the principle of devolution and the national interest. Kwa ufupi, tunataka kusema ya kwamba
statement to make on behalf of the Senate. We have had a meeting, Kamkunji, presided over by the Speaker of the Senate, and the result of previous consultations and the Kamkunji is this statement, which I'll read part of it, and the leader of the majority will read the balance of the statement. And here is the statement. Fellow Kenyans, ladies and gentlemen of the Fourth Estate, as you are aware, the annual division of revenue process for the financial year 2019-2020 has been ongoing. This process commenced with the publication by the National Assembly of the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bills number 11 of 2019. The bill set the equitable share of revenue for the county governments at shillings 310 billion, a drop by Kenya shillings 4 billion from the allocation of Kenya shillings 314 billion for the financial year 2018-2019. It is noteworthy that the Commission on Revenue Allocation, whose primary role is to make recommendations concerning the basis for the equitable sharing of revenue between the two levels of government, had recommended a figure of 335.7 billion as the equitable share of revenue for the county governments. This bill was passed without amendments by the National Assembly and referred to the Senate for concurrence. The Senate, taking into account the recommendations of the Commission on Revenue Allocation, amongst other submissions, passed the bill with amendments to reflect the Kenya shillings 335.7 billion as the allocation to the county governments. As you will recall, the National Assembly rejected the amendments of the Senate, and the bill proceeded to mediation pursuant to Article 113 of the Constitution of Kenya. The mediation process collapsed. This led the Senate to publish a fresh bill, the Division of Revenue Bill, Senate Bills number 13 of 2019, providing for the amount of Kenya shillings 335.67 billion as the share for the county governments. The Senate passed the bill and referred it to the National Assembly for concurrence. For the record, the National Assembly, having introduced the bill in the Assembly, in a process unknown to the practices and procedures of our Parliament and comparative jurisdictions, withdrew the bill and did not consider it further. In response to the publication of the Senate of the Senate of the Division of Revenue Bill, Senate Bills number 13 of 2019, providing for the amount of Kenya shillings 335.67 billion for the counties, the National Assembly published and passed the Division of Revenue number 2 Bill 2019 that set the equitable share of revenue for the county government at Kenya shillings 300 and 16.5 billion. This bill was referred to the Senate, which proceeded to amend the bill by A, increasing the equitable share to county governments from 316.5 billion to Kenya shillings 335.6 billion. B, withdrawal of financing for the leasing of medical equipment. And C, the inclusion of an additional conditional allocation from development partners at the request of the National Treasury. The National Assembly rejected the amendments of the Senate, and the bill was referred to a mediation committee. The ongoing mediation process is therefore the second attempt in this financial year at resolving the impasse between the houses on the enactment of the Division of Revenue Bill. The main contention between the two houses is the county equitable share allocation for the financial year 2019-2020. The position of the Senate is that the allocation to the county governments should be determined by increasing the previous year's equitable share, which was Kenya shillings 314 billion, by 6.9%, which is the 3-year average inflation. The Senate has consistently championed the determination of the allocation of revenue to the two levels of government based on the recommendations of the Commission of Revenue Allocation and specific economic parameters which may vary from year to year. On the other hand, the National Assembly has consistently proposed allocations that do not take into account accepted economic parameters and that disregard the recommendations of the Commission on Revenue Allocation. As a result, based on the National Assembly's proposals, while the national government would enjoy a whopping 13.98% increase in the allocation of revenue in the financial year 2019-2020, the county government's percentage increase would be a mere 0.79%. The impasse on the Division of Revenue Bill 2019 has not happened in a lacuna. Article 218, Sub-Article 1, Paragraph A of the Constitution provides that the Division of Revenue Bill shall divide revenue raised by the national government among the national and county levels of government in accordance with the Constitution. Article 224 of the Constitution provides that, and I quote, on the basis of the Division of Revenue Bill approved by Parliament under Article 218, each county government shall prepare and adopt its own annual budget and appropriation bill in the form and according to the procedure prescribed by an Act of Parliament. As a consequence of not passing the Division of Revenue Bill and the County Allocation of Revenue Bill before the beginning of this financial year, the county governments have been precluded from conclusively preparing their own annual budgets and appropriation bills. This not only contravenes the provisions of Article 213, Sub-Article 1, Paragraph J of the Constitution, which requires stable and predictable allocations of revenue to counties, but on a more fundamental level, has also prejudiced the delivery of vital services by county governments. It is now well settled that a definitive feature of the transformative nature of the 2010 Constitution is the introduction of a devolved system of government that guarantees the people of Kenya the right to manage their own affairs and to ensure proximate and accessible services throughout Kenya. The precarious situation that the country finds themselves in is not only prejudicial to the delivery of public services, but also erodes constitutional imperative for equitable development. As you're aware, while the Division of Revenue Bill forms the basis upon which the two levels of government prepare legal instruments for public expenditure, the National Assembly proceeded to publish, consider, and pass an Appropriation Act setting out the expenditure for national government. Therefore, while the appropriation of counties are likely to grind to a halt sooner rather than later, the national government has continued to operate unfettered. It is the position of the Senate that it is a flagrant violation of the Constitution for the National Assembly and the national government to proceed unilaterally to determine the allocation to the national government independent of the enactment of a Division of Revenue Act. By passing the Appropriation Act 2019, the National Assembly, in effect, unlawfully and unconstitutionally allocated to the national government a share of revenue raised nationally without a determination of what that share should be and without an attendant allocation to the counties. And this is an important constitutional question which the country must resolve. This is a mischief that the Senate refuses to accept. In discharging its role as the protector of the interests of counties, the Senate filed High Court Petition number 218 of 2019, in which the Senate seeks to challenge the constitutionality of various